The college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And welcome back to a brand new episode here of the College Baseball Experience. Today, we are jumping into the mud that is the transfer portal in college sports. And immediately, I just want to do this before I even introduce myself. This is a live show, so I only get one take, one crack at it. Ready, set, go. Hello, college baseball fans and or parents and or players. You just witnessed something that was out of context or taking something out of context. I apologize if I offended you, made fun of you. This is an entertainment show. I'm doing my best to provide information and stats and analysis on your player, on your son, on you, or your player, or somebody that is in the transfer portal that you could possibly be interested in. My name is Bieniek. This is the college baseball experience. I highly recommend you check out the show because we do a bunch of things college baseball wise, college football wise, college basketball wise. I provide picks for college baseball every single weekend and throughout the NCAA tournament every single day, even conference tournaments. We were doing every day. Covering the transfer portal is just giving me some extra content to do. This is all in speculation. I have no prior knowledge. I've not talked to said player. This is just me talking out of my ass, giving some people some content to devour in college baseball when our sport desperately needs more voices to cover the sport. I apologize if I offended you or made fun of you or something that I said that you did not like. Cut. Perfect. Let's go. Hopefully I kept that within a minute. And then if I get anything sent at me throughout the week, like, any player or any parent or anything like that gets a little bit upset, I can just clip out that minute and I'm just going to send it to them because that's my disclaimer for the entire show. But now that that's out of the way, I have plenty of names here. The show is called Transfer Portal Notables in NCAA Baseball as of June 4th. So this is going out the morning of June 5th. I have done some research on some of the top names in the transfer portal. I'm going to put out some predictions on some guys, and some guys I have absolutely no idea where they could possibly land. All of that, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, is just off of pure speculation. Let's jump into this. I mean, this is going to be a ton of fun because, some of these guys are some stars already. Some of these guys are going to be stars in the making if they're transferring up. And I really like the idea of this show, just getting out in ahead of some of the guys that are in the transfer portal and are possibly landing wherever. So should be pretty fun. Apologize for whenever some volume cuts into this thing, but I'm now going to share my screen. I've got some great highlights that I'm going to be sharing on youtube.com/the college baseball experience, I think it is. So all of these guys that I'm talking about today, if you are listening on the podcast platform, I highly encourage you check it out on YouTube because I'll be displaying some highlights throughout. So the first guy, the thumbnail of the YouTube episode is none other than Blake Sear from Miami. He has put his name into the transfer portal, unfortunately for Canes fans, but for everybody else that's looking for a soon-to-be junior outfielder, this should be one of the top guys on top of your shopping list. So I just hit play on the highlight, muted it. The sophomore outfielder from Windermere, Florida. He was a freshman All-American in 2023. He missed a chunk of games in 2024, but He is a career 298 hitter with a 10-11 OPS, 24 home runs, 84 RBI, 72 runs scored, a 443 wOBA, 133 WRC plus in 2 seasons. He committed to Miami back in 2018, so I really don't know whether he grew up a Gator fan. Also, Windermere is super close to Orlando, so maybe UCF is a super long shot hometown possibility because, they are a high major program now over there in the Big 12. But to me, this seems like a guy that is going to hit the transfer portal and is going to get his bag in NIL. So that's my prediction. And we'll have plenty more of those to come during this show. Plain and simple, I don't think he's going to be a hometown kid. I think he's going to get a bag somewhere in the SEC, somewhere in the ACC, possibly not really Big 12. But that's my prediction here for Blake Sear. All right, give me a second as I'll load up the second guy who's also from the Miami Hurricanes. Like I said, unfortunately, just a couple of your kids have hit the transfer portal here. So loading up the next highlight of Jason Torres.
Strikeouts.
Torres. And again, sorry for the spurts of volume in there in between. Hopefully none of them are going to be too loud. But Jason Torres is a sophomore corner infielder from Hialeah, Florida. Sorry if I butchered that name, but he went to Miami Springs High School. So Torres, he only played 18 games as a freshman, but he raked during his opportunities. Then this season, he only played in a handful of games. I don't know if that was injury or playing time wise, but he has a 356 average at the end of the season with a 991 OPS, 407 wOBA, 115 WRC plus over his career with the Hurricanes. Torres is probably leaving in search of a bigger appetite for playing time somewhere else. So that's my prediction with Torres. Whereas Sear, it's purely like he's getting playing time at Miami. He's leaving to go get a bag. Torres probably looking for playing time, but also he played well when he got his time. So he could be looking for a bag too. Next guy on our list is another group. So this guy's at the forefront of said group, but sorry to the Texas Tech Red Raiders fans, but you guys are also seemingly getting rated in the portal this season, or this offseason, I should say. So the next guy on our list that we're talking about here today is Gavin Kash, junior first baseman from Sour Lake, Texas. All Big 12 first team in 2023. Kash is a career 314 hitter with a 10-12 OPS, 41 home runs over the last 2 seasons. He had 51 RBI, 49 runs scored in 2024 with a 407 wOBA, 115 WRC plus, and he had a WAR of 3.14. That was top 500 in the country. Kash, he's draft eligible this season. However, if he'd like to play his way up higher on the draft board and also taking a little bit of money off of the NIL for one more year, he'll play the market here in college baseball, the NCAA Transfer Portal. For starters, Gavin Kash transferred away from Texas his freshman year. So unless David Pierce gets canned, I'm going to rule out the Longhorns for Kash. Sour Lake is close to Houston, but I doubt Kash goes from Tech to Houston. That seems like a little bit of a lateral move to me. However, Fort Worth is in close proximity to Sour Lake. So TCU is probably a player here as they've seen him for multiple years in the Big 12, or, Baton Rouge is only a 3-hour drive from Sour Lake. Jared Jones is a draft eligible sophomore who currently plays first base for the Tigers. If he leaves, that'll at the first base position. However, I think I'll predict Kirk Saarloos and the Horned Frogs have the inside track here as they were mixing guys in at first base all season long. Gavin Kash could solidify that position for the Frogs in 2025. Also, I don't have a highlight for him, but Landon Stripling is following Gavin Kash out of Lubbock, per se. He's a freshman who played for Texas Tech this past year. He's from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He had a 253 batting average, 765 OPS. This season, he joins Kash in the transfer portal, but I think for the season upcoming, either a lateral move somewhere east of Texas or a mid-major that he can possibly excel with his talents would probably be the landing spot best for Stripling. Now let's talk about some MLB bloodlines, also from Texas Tech. This guy here is Jack Washburn, son of Jared Washburn. And he also has a brother named Owen. Jared played 12 years of MLB. The Washburn brothers grew up in Webster, Wisconsin, so there isn't really a big baseball program in that state. The Wisconsin Badgers don't have a baseball team, so these guys strike me as a package deal. As Jack transferred from Oregon State, where he started his career, then to Ole Miss, then he joined his. So he won the national championship with Ole Miss, by the way. Then he transferred to Lubbock to join his brother Owen. Jack's going to be a redshirt senior right-hander. He didn't have the best 2024 after he missed all of 2023 with a fractured scapula. Sorry, that sounded like scapula. He had a fractured scapula in 2023. Jack Washburn did. So Jack has 53 power conference appearances, 21 of those being starts. He's a 4.34 ERA, 124 strikeouts, 74 walks, and 110 career innings across the D1 level. Owen this season, as a true junior, had a 292 batting average, 901 OPS, 403 wOBA, and a 113 WRC plus. Both of these guys are draft eligible, but it strikes me as a true baseball family. As you know, I said Jack played for the Beavers, the Rebels, and Texas Tech. All of those are baseball first institutions. So that's my read here on these guys. Possible next destinations in the NCAA landscape, a baseball first institution that is going to take both of them as a short package deal for the time being. Before we move on, after the duo and quartet of teammates, let me tell you about the NBA Gambling Podcast, as the NBA Finals tip off this week, and we're giving away $100 in cash and a $100 gift card to the listener who wins the NBA Finals prop contest. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Finals to enter. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Finals. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Their Pick 8 platform is now live for the NBA Finals. Create entries up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex their entries. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325x your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. So each game, it sounds like during the NBA Finals, they will be putting out some discounted or cut in half player projections that you will be able to use in your flexed entries. So don't miss your chance to try it out before this opportunity is gone. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we're back here on the College Baseball Experience. We do have 2 diehards here. Sunday Puncher 2009 at 4:05 a.m. says dedication, homie. And Diggs, by the way, won on Twitch, by the way. So shout out to you, Diggs. He says, hey, what's up? Yeah, thank you all for joining here, as we've got 15 of you across all our platforms that we are currently streaming are tuned in. So I really appreciate that. Today, I have totally jacked up my sleep schedule. As you would know, like during the weekend, I was putting out daily picks episodes, but of course, handicapping each box score every single night. So I was doing episodes 4 or 5 in the morning. Monday night, aka Tuesday morning, I just said, screw it, no alarm clock. I'm getting all the sleep that I need. And I don't know if I should put this out, but I woke up at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm still buzzing. I'm gonna pull off an all-nighter. I've done this plenty of times before to fix said sleep schedule, and the sleep schedule is definitely going to need to be fixed if your boy gets approved to cover the Lexington Super Regional. That's right. I applied for media credentials, the Lexington Super Regional. It's only about 6 hours away drive for me. I will probably be pulling a Jack DeLongchamp, sleeping in my car if I do get approved, or the more expensive route, I could find an Airbnb near the Lexington area. But I cannot wait, because I find both of those storylines fascinating to me. Kentucky going for their first Omaha appearance. The jubilation that would be shown if Kentucky is able to, go to Omaha for the first time. They dogpile on their own field. That would be amazing to cover. But also, I love this Oregon State program. I have since the very moment that I kind of fell in love with baseball, college baseball specifically, because Oregon State being a Pacific Northwest program, they don't have all their facilities are really good for the area that they're at, but they don't have all the money that all the other schools and programs do down in the South. So I really fell in love with, Pat Casey's job that he did with the Beavers. And, the height of my teenage years, they won it in 2018. I was a fan of that team with Adley Rutschman and Stephen Kwan, and that team just fascinated me. And I fell in love with it because I am a Northern baseball player and fan. Shout out to Sadushar. Sorry, I am definitely going to butcher this name. I apologize. Sadushar Sundar. He says, how do you feel about an Oregon to reach Omaha bet? The good thing for you guys is you're catching Texas A&M with a slumping Braden Montgomery. However, that didn't bother them this last week. They were still putting up runs. They put up 8 on Grambling, 10 on Louisiana, I believe. I could be a little bit wrong. They may have put up even more than 10 on the Raging Cajuns there. But I think with how good Oregon's pitching looked, you have a shot in theory if you could shut down the Texas A&M offense and also get some similar weather to College Station had this past weekend where the balls really weren't flying out of the place. It's a big park. Oregon's got a shot. And then Sunday Puncher 2009 said, some of the odds moved overnight for super regional winners. I love NC State at plus 102 to win the Athens regional. Yeah, that one was a little bit higher, right? It was like plus 120. That would have, I'm going to do the super regional show later on Wednesday night. So it'll be out Thursday morning for all the podcast listeners. This show is for the Wednesday morning and Wednesday for all the podcast listeners and stuff. So yeah, if I was going to be giving out picks today, NC State would have been one of them, just because Georgia doesn't really have a dog at the front of the rotation. And I already, if you listen to me pre-tournament, I have Georgia to get to Omaha. So if I jump on an NC State plus money and I already have Georgia to get to Omaha, I'm winning money or said hedging, depending on how much shorter this NC State price gets. So hopefully for the people, it doesn't shorten up any further than it already has. So enough time jaw-jacking. Let's get back to some of the notable players that have hit the transfer portal. So I'm loading up our next highlight currently, and we'll jump into this. Sorry for the volume if you hear it. There we go. There's my layout. So the next guy that we're going to talk about here is Joseph Gerera. And if you follow me on Twitter at wOBA at 77_, you would have seen this highlight that has actually kind of gained some real traction lately. He's a sophomore left-hander from Haskins, Ohio. Pitched for Michigan State his first 2 seasons of college ball. He was second team All Big Ten this season. He's a long, lanky lefty that's 6'7", 200 pounds. He's real whippy. The delivery reminds me a lot of Hagen Smith in a way, as he doesn't really finish over his toes the same way Hagen doesn't. But this kid just needs more meat on his bones to add to his low to mid 90s fastball. That could climb. I mean, if you put him into one of these power programs with all the technology that they've got, and also get him out of the cold weather of Michigan State and East Lansing, no offense to Michigan State, and I'm a Michigan fan. It's the same way for both programs. You're pitching in colder weather for 3 months out of the season, whereas you head down south, you don't really have that issue. Your fastball is going to play up as it already does with this stupid arm angle. I love the arm angle. Not stupid is probably the wrong word. It's just funky. And he throws a good curveball, has a changeup as well. This season, the ace of the Spartans, Gerera, he had a 4.07 ERA with 91 strikeouts, 27 walks in 84 innings. To me, this is just your normal case of a Northern kid breaking out, and he's going to find an SEC school or an ACC school that's going to give him a good platform during his draft year, as he's going to be a junior next year. And, of course, he'll get a bag too. That's just probably secondary, though. Behind what he really wants is just a bigger spotlight on him. So, Yeah, I really like this Joseph Gerera kid. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get eyes on him this season live, but last season I did see him in person, and I've watched him plenty of times throughout the 2 years that he's been in the Big Ten. All right, let's load up our next guy. Also a Big Ten guy. We're going through 3 Big Ten pitchers. So if you know of 3 Big Ten pitchers that have hit, good guesses. Shout out to Burt Granger of D1 Baseball for this clip that he posted to Twitter. This is the one I'm currently displaying here, as Landon Beidelshees, a sophomore left-hander from Canfield, Ohio. He pitched for Ohio State his first 2 years in college. This season, Beidelshees was one of the best aces in the Big Ten. His nickname is Cheese. Finished 2024 with a 4.15 ERA, 91 strikeouts, 31 walks, and 84.2 innings. These advanced stats and info come from a tweet by Peter Flaherty of Baseball America. His fastball is 92 to 95, tops out at 98, average of 18.5 inches of induced vertical break on that fastball. Best in the top half of the zone for him with his fastball. He also has a gyro slider that generates 41% of whiffs on swings, and he rates this pitch as a 55. The average changeup, or he says the gyro slider's average rates it as 55. The changeup draws 46% whiff rate, and it's an effective third pitch against right-handed hitters. He says that this is a 3rd to 5th round type in 2025's MLB draft. Just like Gerera, I think Cheese is probably looking for a good platform during his draft year to hopefully raise his stock up a little bit, as he is a lefty, throws pretty hard. This is a kid that, if he has a great season and a better league than the Big Ten, he could draw some serious draft, looks. I apologize that the highlight ended, but let's switch over to this next name, the last name from the Big Ten pitching group that we have. And this is, why did it spit me all the way down here? Where are we going? I apologize. This is an entire thread, and it didn't put me on the exact tweet that I wanted. Here we go. This is where we want to live. Christian Coppola of Rutgers. He's a sophomore right-handed pitcher from Galloway, New Jersey. Last season, Coppola collected many accolades, from things like freshman All-American to all Big Ten first team, and he even pitched for the U.S. collegiate national team too. So this is a very established right-handed arm. It looked as if some teams kind of figured him out during his second go-around in the Big Ten, and possibly leaving his hometown team in search of a new landing spot may give him that confidence and also allow him to face some fresh and really good competition. Plus, of course, another Big Ten hurler will probably receive a little bit more NIL than he had before. Coppola, he had a career ERA of 5.25 with 118 strikeouts, 60 walks, and 109.2 innings at Rutgers. Okay, let's grab our next name here from the Twitterverse. And this video is courtesy of Louisville Keelan, as we're talking about Gavin Keelan, sophomore shortstop from Milton, Wisconsin. Keelan is a name that will attract a lot of 2025 MLB draft attention, and is ultra talented shortstop in search of a bigger platform than Louisville, plus maybe a bigger bag, as the Cardinals, they've just unloaded basically all of their NIL money into the new basketball coach in the basketball program, aka Chucky Hepburn, who came in onto campus, and Pat Kelsey, the head coach there. He did a great job with Charleston, coming into Louisville now, looking to turn that basketball program that has been a traditional power around. Keelan broke out in 2023 with a .330 batting average, 952 OPS, 418 wOBA, 120 WRC plus, and he had a 2.98 WAR, which slots him in the top 500 nationally, which is elite considering how many D1 players actually exist. Keelan should receive many calls this offseason. I'm interested to see where he lands. Being from Wisconsin, I don't think he's going to the hometown team, because obviously there is no hometown program for him. And also, exiting Louisville, who's a very good baseball program. He's only got a few more steps up. So this is screaming to me like SEC, drop a bag, get Keelan, and that's your guy. So we'll move on to the next name. And that is, as we look,
clock game will be on the air with pregame.
Michael Ross, a redshirt senior, may even be a grad senior. I don't know how his academics have been doing, but he's a right-handed pitcher from Lakeland, Florida. So obviously the no-brainer step up in competition. And candidates that I can draw are your high major Florida schools, the Gators, Florida State, UCF, Miami, Florida. Also, he could take the Sonny DeShera route and go to Auburn or Alabama, maybe even venture off into Mississippi or the Georgia Power schools. My prediction is that Butch Thompson is hitting the transfer portal super hard after this season. His season ended early. A big reason for that was the lack thereof pitching staff. So keep an eye on Wardam Eagle as a destination for Ross, who finished as a 2024 SoCon Pitcher of the Year, which is super impressive because that's just a very offensive league. Ross had a 13-0 record this season, which is just absurd. 3.27 ERA, 88 strikeouts, 21 walks in 96.1 innings. Before we move before we go to the next name here, let me talk to you about Rhythm. As if you're betting on NBA player props, you need to download Rhythm, spelled RITHMM. Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists and quants that focus on fine-tuning their algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. Rhythm pairs its predictions with player prop graphs and to help you feel even more confident with your picks, which you can make wherever you normally place your bets or DFS picks. From superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data without you needing to endlessly scroll a sports book. Rhythm also allows you to create your own custom NBA models so you can get AI-backed moneyline spread and total picks for every playoff game. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, spelled RITHMM. All right, we're back here on the College Baseball Experience, and let's load up our next name and next highlight reel that we can display as we dissect this case. Also, teammate. So this was probably a poor segue because I wanted to have these guys together. But teammate of Michael Ross, Lucas Steele, a sophomore catcher / outfielder from Hoover, Alabama. He also played for Samford this past season. Steele is a 6 foot flat, 210-pound catcher / outfielder that played at Stanford and contains some pop in his bat as he's smoked 29 home runs in his 2 seasons with the Bulldogs. It's kind of a weird player profile as he only hit 245 this season, but he had more walks than strikeouts in 200 at bats. So he's not really a big swing and miss guy. He really just probably didn't have a ton of batted ball luck. He is a career 280 hitter. His freshman year was outstanding. So he had a 962 OPS over his career, and he had 61 RBI and 43 runs scored in 2023. Let's load up our next notable name here in the college baseball transfer portal. Again, the transfer portal opened. Sorry for the volume on this. The transfer portal opened literally 2 days ago. So we've been told that literally 1,000 names are in this thing currently. The next guy that we're going to talk about here is Tommy Leapor, freshman right-hander from Blue Springs, Missouri. This year, his first year in college, he pitched for Wichita State. So locationally, this is probably going to indicate some Arkansas or Missouri or maybe some Kansas State, Oklahoma State, some interest there from these higher up schools and premier programs in the area. That intuition says that this freshman turning sophomore is looking for better competition. And of course, with that comes a bigger bag. Leapor was named Newcomer Pitcher of the Year in the American Athletic Conference and he was named to the all-freshman team in the conference as well. He was 6-2 with a 4.23 ERA, 69 strikeouts, 37 walks in 78.2 innings. Let's load up our next candidate to find a new destination in the college baseball landscape is Chase Kuesen of Duke, freshman outfielder from Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. Kuesen was the number one outfield prospect in the state of Pennsylvania and number 5 overall prospect in the state, according to Perfect Game. And at South Fayette High School, he was a 4-time Perfect Game All-American. Kuesen will play in the Cape this summer, so who knows what college coach will be able to recruit him from campus, as that's just a hotbed each summer for some of the best college players, some of the biggest college coach recruiters looking for some JUCO, looking for some D2, D3, mid-major, even high major talent to recruit to their own campus, and also just MLB scouts everywhere looking for your next MLB superstar. Kuesen will have a ton of attention up there as he finished 2024 with a 328 batting average, 880 OPS, 35 runs scored, 22 RBI, 5 tanks, and only 131 at-bats this season for Duke. Okay, let's load up our next name here. Again, tune in on YouTube to take in all the great highlights that I'm displaying. And hopefully I'm not blowing out everybody's speakers for each second that I load up a new clip. But that's just unfortunately the way Twitter rolls. As I go full screen on these, it blares the audio. So the next arm that we're going to talk about here is a sophomore left-hander from Long Beach, California, Miles Patton, who was the ace of the Long Beach State Dirtbags. Patton's leaving his hometown as a 2025 MLB draft prospect. It's telling me that he's looking for a bigger spotlight for the MLB draft and or a little bit of a bigger bag before his big draft day. He's probably looking for an upgrade in NIL funds. So if he's looking for an upgrade in only NIL funds, if that's his only thing, he could take in some of the West Coast schools. They could be suffice. Arizona, Oregon State, Arizona State, probably not because they don't have a lot of money, but I mean, there's plenty of West Coast schools and institutions that could take in Patton. However, if he's looking to specifically bring up his stock in 1, public attention, and 2, MLB draft status, he'll probably end up in the southeast portion of the country, unfortunately. So this is just a case of another kid in the big West country moving out east to, raise his stock, play college ball. It's just what's been going on recently. And unfortunately, this highlight reel that I have on loop, funny enough, it's actually from his high school days where he was ranked as the 396th best prospect in the state of California, 29th best left-handed pitcher out of Cali. The Dirtbags obviously saw something in the hometown kid, as he's from Long Beach, California, brought him in, and they turned him into the ace of the staff, and now he's just moving on to bigger and better things. In 2024, Miles Patton finished the year with 85 strikeouts, 24 walks in 66.1 innings with a 4-3 record and a 3.26 ERA. Loading up our next player, as it is Jojo Jackson from Georgia State. He's a junior, a real physical switch-hitting outfielder from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Jojo /301, 386 with a 618 slug. He sent 13 balls over the fence this season while recording 47 runs scored. He scored 47 times, with 43 rib sticks. Wow, I just completely botched that sentence. Let's do it over. He sent 13 balls over the fence this season while scoring 47 times with 43 rib sticks. There we go, Noah. Way to read. Jojo Jackson is from the state of Georgia. It's a big-time recruiting hotbed. So, it's easy for him to kind of fall under the radar as he's coming out of high school. But I just can't really see this guy not landing at either Georgia or Georgia Tech. I mean, just look at him swing. Both rosters just love to clobber the baseball. And Jojo's going to probably fit right in. So that's, of course, if he doesn't get drafted and enter pro ball. But I think the Yellow Jackets or the Bulldogs is probably the home for Jojo. Whichever team that he grew up rooting for is probably where he's going to end up. And Danny Hall over there at Georgia Tech has, just the natural ability to just breed big time hitters. So Jojo Jackson, that's my prediction. He lands at one of those big time Georgia schools, but this is a real fun bet. Let's talk about our next guy here. And unfortunately, I did not look how to properly pronounce his name, because I pride myself in doing that. But I'm going to go with Mason Cook. Mason Cock? Mason Koch. His last name is Koch. Mason. He's a sophomore right-handed pitcher from Omaha, Nebraska. And my intuition is telling me that this is a kid leaving his hometown, searching for a bag. As you know, he pitched for Creighton his past 2 seasons, in college. So I think he's possibly looking for a bag, but also for some fine tuning. As you know, he was the Creighton Blue Jays closer in 2024. He tallied 6 saves, 60 strikeouts, 17 walks, and 38.1 innings with a 3.29 ERA and a 5-1 record. He possesses a mid-90s fastball and a devastating slider, as you can see from this video. But as for the fine tuning part, like I said, he could really use kind of third pitch. So, and he's only got fastball slider as the duo, and that's what makes him a great closer. But if he moves on to a high major program, they could possibly sculpt him into that guy with a reliever with 3 pitches, or maybe even a starter if that's what he desires. They could sculpt him into that as he enters his junior/draft year. This next one that we're going to talk about is a real fun one. As I load up the clip on Twitter. That is not what I wanted. Hello, Veason. I don't know why that came up. All right. That was funny. All right. Here we go. The next guy that we're talking about here is Eric Radack. He's a junior first baseman from Circle Pines, Minnesota. Played this last year of ball with the Niagara Purple Eagles. And let me tell you, Radack has been all over the place, as he started his career with the University of San Diego. Then he went to Arizona Western College, ending up at Niagara, of all places. And even though he had a very successful season with the Purple Eagles, this kid probably wants to get back to that top tier of competition while also playing in some warmer weather. Radack blasted 17 home runs while OPSing 1183 and hitting 396 this past season with a 169 WRC plus, a 514 wOBA, and putting up a 3.76 WAR, which slots him inside the nation's top 200. He is 6'3", 215, and had a pretty good 2 games when Niagara visited Oklahoma State this weekend in the Stillwater Regional. Radack went 2 for 8 while hitting a home run, putting up 4 RBI, while scoring a run in each game. Colin Bregman is currently a junior first baseman for the Pokes, so if he gets drafted, keep an eye out for any smoke of Radack extending his stay in Stillwater. All right, let's talk about the next name here. It's Riley Hughes of Winthrop, as I load up his highlight reel that I have. Unfortunately, not of him with Winthrop. However, it does suffice. He's a senior left-handed pitcher from Davenport, Florida. Hughes is attracting some interest in the MLB draft, but he could elect to transfer as a graduate senior to take in some NIL, while possibly adding some velocity with a power program, either in the area of where he played college ball with Winthrop or the area where he grew up. Hughes is a big boy, 6'4", 230, but normally, as the saying goes, mass equals gas. That's not the case for Hughes, as he doesn't really throw too hard. He possesses some really good off-speed offerings, but Hughes finished the season with tied for 10th nationally in strikeouts at the time when he finished his season with 111, but he did it without a power fastball, as he only really tops out in the low 90s. So at the time, he finished 111 strikeouts, which is 10th nationally. He had a 20 strikeout performance earlier this season and just 7.2 innings of work against the Maine Black Bears. He finished the season with a 5.26 ERA, 29 walks, and only 66.2 innings of work. All right. Next name on our list, next highlight reel too. We've got, shout out to 11.7 for the caption and the clip on this one, as we've got Aaron Lugo, a 5'8" junior infielder from Parral, Mexico. This season, Lugo batted .326 with a 10.08 OPS. He put up 10 home runs with 55 runs scored and 49 ribbies. Believe me, I played college baseball with many Hispanics during my time at Point Park University. I don't know if you can see me pointing to my flag in the background on YouTube, but if the Hispanics are not playing a middle infielded position, they're not happy. That's just the way it goes. At 5'8", 167 pounds, Lugo fits the middle infield. He just probably didn't fit the middle infield positions at Texas State. Sorry. If Lugo doesn't get drafted, this to me screams, A, we have a player that's probably not happy with the position that he played this last season, or B, we have a big brother picking on little brother situation. If one of these power programs offers one of these power programs from the state of Texas, if they toss the kid some pesos, the kid from Mexico, if he could get some pesos in during one of his final years of college, I think Lugo is going to take it. So unfortunately, it just kind of looks like a big brother on a little brother in the state of Texas type thing. Hopefully tampering is not in the deal, but Lugo, he hit this absolute tank job off of Texas in the Astros Foundation Classic while blowing a bubble. So I'm gonna rewind this real quick. This highlight is just sick. He's blowing a bubble currently as he's swinging. Just outstanding. Pure star. Like if you're doing that at a power program, they will absolutely love you. So yeah, that's Aaron Lugo for you. All right, let's load up our next guy. All right, the next one that I want to present to you that's in the college baseball transfer portal after just 2 days of it being open, Nate Knowles, a junior right-handed pitcher from Arlington, Virginia. Knowles started a ridiculous 19 games this past season with William and Mary. He racked up 112 strikeouts in 80 innings with 39 walks, a 9-3 record, 2.48 ERA, and an opponent's batting average of only 178. Not only is this kid a rubber arm, he's legit too. His head coach, Mike McRae, unfortunately, I think unjustly, just got canned by the Tribe athletic department in search of something better when he has been churning out MLB draft prospects from William and Mary year in, year out. Seriously, Bill and Mary, MLB draft prospects. What more can you expect? What more can you ask for? Anyways, Knowles is one of those guys who is / will be an MLB draft prospect. If he doesn't get drafted this year, go in pro ball. I think, Virginia Tech could be a very solid fit, as the Hokies could always use some pitching. Or maybe he ends up at the factory that is Charlottesville with Brian O'Connor and Virginia, as Knowles did grow up pretty dang close to Charlottesville. So for now, that's going to be my prediction for the kid from Arlington, Virginia, Nate Knowles. All right, next name on our list is... Whoa, where are we going?
Addison left the team middle of
Carson Hansen, a sophomore right fielder from Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Hansen is a physical left-handed outfield bopper who put up the 5th most doubles in the country, 25 of them to be exact, with 11 dingers while hitting .317 with a 10.08 OPS. With 63 RBI and 47 runs scored. It was a true breakout season for Hansen, as he didn't play much at all last season for Milwaukee. As maybe he's not going to get the call up to the big boys and the power programs, but he's definitely going to take a step up in competition compared to the Horizon League. And that's not a shot at the Horizon League. I love the bunch of teams that play right here in my backyard. Start your baseball programs the rest of the conference. All right, we've got 2 more names here for this show. We'll be doing a transfer portal update next week. Maybe 2 more episodes of this, I would say. 2 or 3 more. Let's go with that. The next guy that we're going to talk about here is Thomas Burns, Arizona State's freshman right-hander from Hortonville, Wisconsin. At 6'3", 210 pounds, Thomas Burns was the first freshman to start on opening day for Arizona State since 2006. Unfortunately, as the Sun Devils probably hoped that they had have Burns for the long haul, that dream was short-lived, literally, as Burns shined for the time that we saw him this season, battled an injury, missed a lot of time, and now he's in the portal. I assume he's looking for a bag. Burns had a .475 ERA, shined. He showed some true potential. in his 30.1 innings of work with 39 strikeouts this season. All right, and we've got one more name on our notables list. He is
look first. So that's what makes
Colby Turner, a freshman third baseman from Huntington Beach, California. And I'm choosing to end off the show with some fan bias, as this kid is already committed, and it was a great addition by head coach Tracy Smith and the Michigan Wolverines. Turner, a transfer from San Diego State, only played in 34 games this season with 122 at-bats, but he had a 361 batting average and 999 OPS, and he only struck out 14% of the time. So when Turner got his opportunities, he performed. And that's going to do it for today's episode of the College Baseball Experience. I appreciate you all tuning in to this special, transfer portal edition of the College Baseball Experience. Like I said, I aim to do a couple more of these. I don't want to just over influx transfer portal and put it all over the feed. However, I do think it's fascinating for some fans of college baseball to, hear about, a couple of these guys in depth. And I'm only hitting on literally the top 2% of the transfer portal, as there's 1,000 names already in that thing. And today on the show, I only covered the 24 notable names that caught my attention that I could talk about today. So let me know if there's a player that you want to hear specifically on this show. Drop their name down in the comments, whether on YouTube or leave a review, a 5-star review, preferably on your podcast platform. Leave a review, talk about or list the name that you would like me to talk about on this show, the College Baseball Experience, one of our future transfer portal editions. And if you're a player or you're a coach or whatever, and you do want to hear your name or one of your kids' names, specifically, I'm talking probably like high school or travel ball coaches. If you're one of those guys, drop their name down below as well, and I will dive into them for you, and for the people too, because I assume there's going to be quite a few people listening to this show, because not many people out there currently are covering transfer portal and the game of college baseball, a great game that is currently growing, and I'm doing my best to help this thing grow. And you guys listening to the show are also doing your best to help this thing grow, as you're helping me grow, which in turn helps the game grow. More creators, more attention that this thing gets, the better. And I appreciate all you guys for tuning in to me ramble on about a select few guys that are in the transfer portal. I really do appreciate it. So you've been experiencing the better side of college baseball with the College Baseball Experience. Adios, amigos.